A 1, 2, 3, 4. Howdy folks, in this week's feature lesson we're going to learn all about using the flatted third, okay? And I have an original composition here entitled Using the Flatted Third, and we're going to do it Doc Watson style. Now this is something that you often hear him do, it's kind of associated with his sound, plus, many other guitar players in this genre use it as well. I've taken a simple chord progression and we're going to examine how to use that flatted third, where it's at, and then how to use it over top of the C, over top of the G, over top of the F. And we're going to talk about different ways to, go into it, go out of it, to the chord or from the chord. And again, really just exposing, if you will, or examining how to get that flatted third sound. As always, you want to access the full-length version, download the tabs and the audio tracks, access the Sound Slice player, click the link in the description below. Let's dive in. All right, so let's put those first few measures up on the screen there. I'll play them through and then we'll break them on down. It's got the pickup on beat 3 in the first measure. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. A little quicker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Right there, so in the first measure, we got a 1-0 pull on the D string, and then we play the A string on the 3rd fret. And of course, right there, we have our first flatted third, right? If this is E on the 2nd fret, this is E flat on the 1st fret, and that's the flatted third of C. So you build a C chord, C, E, G, right? And the 3rd is E, which is this note. And now we've flattened it, okay? So we're gonna be using this, again, motif a ton over the C chord and over other chords as well. And that little pull off is pretty quick. It's 16th notes there. It could almost even be grace notes. 1 E and then open D, 1st fret D, back to that E flat note. And we'll walk into measure 2 to the E natural, or E note. Okay. So play that note, and then we do just a downstroke on those 4 strings, 3 or 4 strings. Kind of partial C chord, but 1, 2, and then low string 3rd fret. Kind of the alternate bass, the G note there. And this measure right here is a strumming pattern we're gonna essentially be using throughout the whole piece. And it's the boom chicka boom is kind of, it's very similar to that, but it's just a little bit more down and up stuff, and it's just slightly different, just a little nuance. So it sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, and 4, and down, 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 up, down. And it's very useful strumming pattern. In the style of music. It gives us a nice bounce. Can also have a nice drive to it when you're playing even faster. Something I use again all the time. Then measure 3, play the A string, 3rd fret, down, up. Here's our flatted third again, our little motif rhythm here. But now we're gonna walk into the B note on the G chord. So open A, 1st fret, 2nd fret. Now if you notice, on the last note in measure 3, it's on the 1st fret there. and that is a B flat note, okay? That's the flatted third of G. We build the G chord, G, B, D. So B is the third. We flatten it, and that's B flat. And that's right there. And then on measure 4, we go to the B natural, right? So again, we're in that one measure, we're using flatted thirds from the C and from the G. In measure 4, we go to 2. We do that same strumming pattern on the G chord. Notice I'm fingering the G just slightly different there. And then low note G, up, down, up. Put them all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Okay, then moving on, the next few sound like this. All right, so measure 5, we play the open D, and we do a down up strum. And right here we're using the flatted third, again, B flat to an A. That quick pull off, 16th notes there. Then 3 on the low E. So 1 and, or actually 3 and then we walk into the B note again, open A, first fret, and then second fret. So downstroke, low string, up, down, up. There's our strumming pattern in measure 6. So those two. Measure 7, open D, downstroke. And then 2 on the D, 1 on the D, pull to 0, 2 on the A, and we land on a C note. So right there I'm grabbing the flatted third of C, but playing it over the G chord. Right there, E flat. So again, I'm taking the listener's ear into the C chord. And then we do our strumming pattern that we've been using so far in measure 8. And if that strumming pattern is difficult for you, you can always do a regular boom chucka boom. Again, very similar. Let me play all 8 of those measures for you. So from the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. All right, so as you see, we're using the flatted third of C and G, and we're using it all over the place, right? And we can go down to it, we can go up into it, or whatever the case may be. But you can hear that sound, that little bluesy sound in there. And again, we're just finding lots of different examples and different ways you can use it. So now moving on here to measures 9, 10, 11, and 12, and essentially we're kind of repeating the chord progression. Or the first half of this A part is kind of what's happening here. So, we're gonna play just a little bit different melody, and the timing now is gonna get a little more syncopated. So 3, 4, 1. Okay, similar things, but again, different, right? So measure 9, that first little marking is an 8th note rest. So this 2 on the G string, which is an A note, it's going to come on the and of beat 1. So 1 and then it's tied over. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Then open G, second fret again, open, and then 0, 1 on the D. So D, E flat, flat 3 into the normal 3. And then we strum, we do our strumming pattern. Measure 11, I land on the 3 on the A, and then come back to that. Second fret G string note, which is an A note. An open G, 2, open, 2 on the D, open. That measures timing is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and in measure 12 we land on the 2nd fret of the A string, which is the 3rd of G, this B note, and then we do our strumming pattern. 1, 2, 3 and 4 and all 4 of those. 1, 2, ready, go, 1. All right, so then we move on here to measure 13, 14, and 15, kind of rounding out the first A part. 3, 4, 1. On there to measure 17. It's not on the screen there, but so measure 13, still on the G chord, so I do a kind of a downstroke on the highest sounding 3 or 4 strings there, D, G, and B, and then I gotta come right back up, 2nd fret on the D, right? That's an E note. 1 and 2, and then open D, 2nd, open, 0, 1 on the A. That's the B flat right there, flatted 3 of the G chord, right? In measure 14, we go into the natural B, and we do our strumming pattern. Measure 15, I come down, and then I gotta go all the way to the 3rd fret, low E string, and then open A, 30 again, and then open A, 2. In measure 16, I land back on the C bass note, it's downstroke, and our strumming pattern again. So we'll put that in context a little bit. 3, 4. One more time. 2, 3, 4. Okay, whoops. All right, so that's it for the first A part there, and as you kind of hear, we're getting more syncopated, and I hope you're hearing kind of how we're making use of the flatted 3rd thus far, right? And we're gonna be just doing more of that. We're gonna do it up the neck here as we continue on. If you want to access the rest of the lesson, download the tabs and the audio tracks, access the sound slides, click the link in the box below, and we'll move on when you're ready.